when we've done all of this coding, then we get these kinds of results here. Okay, so now we want to, last thing we want to do is when the user clicks on one of the customers, we want to see it all in here. So we want to see all of that in there. Okay, so that is occurring when they click on something in this list box, right? So that's some kind of event in the list box. So if you click on the list box, we know that we can see all the properties associated with the list box. For example, I can see the name, I can see anchor and background color. Like that, right? And but one thing I think we didn't mention is you can also click here and you can see all the different events that are possible with this. Now, one of the events we know is, for example, for a button, if I click on button, one of the events is the button click event. But you have the click event here, but we also talked about, I think we had like mouse over, mouse hover, mouse enter, all these different events. So we can see all the events associated with any particular object. And the same thing here, we can, instead of looking at the properties, where are they? Instead of looking at the properties here, we can look at the events associated with it. And one of them is the selected index changed, which means that a different item has been selected. So we want to use that event. We want to create that event. So I already have that event set up in my code, so I won't show you how to do it with that one. I'll say, suppose I wanted to create this event, wanted to use this event. You just double click on this, and then you have the mouse move event. So I already have somewhere here, here, the selected index changed. So you need to do that. I don't really need this, I'll just delete it. But you need to do that. So you would go to here, make sure this is selected, go to the selected index, and just double click on it. And then you will get this event, and then you can program something to happen when that event happens. And so what's going to, that means that when someone changes what's selected, this code will run. So what do we want to happen when this code runs? So if the selected customer is empty, if nothing is selected, then we're going to just display a new customer, like a blank customer. But otherwise, we're going to display the customer that has been selected. Remember, we have this property called the selected customer, so we can use it here, and we can display that customer. So that's all you have to do is say I want to display, if it's not empty, then I want to display the current customer in the boxes, in the in here, right? So that's easy, right? Except for one thing, there is no such thing as this. There's no display customer method or subroutine. There's nothing like that's not. This is basically, we created the concept of a customer, so there's no display customer method or subroutine. So what is he doing what does this mean? It doesn't mean anything except that he defines it here. So he's defining this display customer method, so then he can call it here. So how does he do it? We enter what goes into this method. You can see here that a selected customer goes in. In other words, a customer. This is of type customer, as I've said. several times already. So a customer type is the input, and you can see that's true in the method signature here, or the first line here. You can see that it takes what he calls a temp, but it's of type customer. And then what does he do? He takes the customer, and he gets the name property, and he gets the first name field, and the last name field, and the age field, and the email field, and he feeds them into his text boxes, right? Into the txt name, which is his text box for the name, txt first name, which is his text box for the first name, and so on. And that's how that is done.